From invisible to influential in just 6 weeks. You're listening to the Leader Within podcast with Sue-Ann Higgins. And over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to take you on a journey where strategic leadership meets AI tools that think with you. You know that feeling when you're working harder than anyone else, but somehow you're still invisible when the big opportunities come around? When your ideas get ignored until someone else repeats them? When you watch less qualified leaders advance while you remain stuck, no matter how much effort you put in? If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. And most importantly, it's not your fault. You're just caught in what I call the try harder traps of leadership. Those patterns that convince you the answer is more effort when what you really need is to think, communicate, and show up differently. Over the next 6 weeks, I'll be taking you on a journey from where you are now to where you're meant to be. This isn't about adding more to your already overwhelming schedule. This is about strategic transformation that creates the kind of influence and impact that you've been working towards for years. Welcome, my lovely, to my golden inner circle, where talented women leaders just like you finally get the breakthrough coaching you deserve to become recognised as strategic black trailblazers. Each week, we'll focus on one core power move that shifts you out of those try harder traps and into your next level of leadership. Week 1 will reclaim your tiger time, those peak hours that have been hijacked by everyone else's priorities. Week 2 will build your daily blueprint so that you move from firefighting to strategic focus. Week 3 will master the 5 gatekeepers of human behaviour so that you can influence more when you speak up and finally be heard. Week 4 will transform your presence from invisible to influential. Week 5 will pack your emergency leadership toolkit for poise under pressure. And week 6 will design your strategic leadership legacy, the complete transformation. This is your invitation to stop being unseen, unheard, and unsupported, while less qualified leaders get the opportunities you deserve, because you're only one reconstructed thought away from the breakthrough you deserve in your life and in your leadership journey. Let's begin. And we're starting something that will change your entire week, reclaiming your tiger time. Let me explain. Have you ever looked at your calendar and thought, where the hell did my time go? You have the skills, the experience, the track record, but your time, it's constantly hijacked. You've got meetings that you don't need to be in, conversations you shouldn't be having, and a silent voice in your head whispering, just push through. You've fallen into what I call the busyness trap, one of the traps of leadership. It's the pattern where you've convinced yourself that a packed calendar equals productivity, that being needed in every meeting proves your value. And here's what I hear constantly. I have to go to that meeting. What if I miss something? What if they make a decision without me, or we make the wrong decision? I understand this fear completely. You believe that showing up to everything demonstrates your engagement and keeps you informed. But let me ask you this. If attending every meeting was truly valuable, then everyone who goes to most meetings would be the most effective leaders, right? We all know that's not the case. The leaders who are most respected aren't the ones sitting in every room. They're the ones who choose the rooms strategically and contribute meaningfully when they're there. What if your absence from the low-value meetings actually created more space for the higher impact work that only you can do? Here's the reality. When you attend every meeting, you train others to include you in everything. Whether you add value or not, you become a passenger, not a driver. Today, we're talking about tiger time, your power hours, and how to break free from that busyness trap to reclaim your power hours without guilt, without apology, and without burning bridges. Let me tell you about Sarah, a mid-level leader who perfectly embodies the busyness trap. Sarah was brilliant, respected, and dedicated, but she had convinced herself that her packed calendar proved her commitment. She wore that packed calendar like a badge of honour. Her typical Tuesday, 11 meetings, status updates that she didn't need to hear, brainstorming sessions when her input wasn't essential, quick check-ins that stretched to 45 minutes. The breaking point came when she missed her daughter's basketball game again. For a last-minute strategic planning session that turned out to be a 20-minute update she could have received via email. That night, as she tucked her daughter into bed and heard about the shot she missed, Sarah realised something. She wasn't being strategic about her strategy sessions. She was operating from fear disguised as commitment. Sarah had fallen into the busyness trap, using her packed schedule to avoid the uncomfortable truth that she didn't trust her own judgment about what actually needed her attention. She didn't need another productivity hack. She needed to understand what was driving her compulsion to attend everything, and she needed to reclaim her target time. So what's actually happening when you're caught in that busyness trap? First, there's decision fatigue. Every meeting invitation requires at least one micro decision. Should I go? What would happen if I don't go? By noon, your prefrontal cortex, the Goldilocks of the brain, is depleted by hundreds of these tiny choices. Then there's the cortisol spike that happens when you're constantly reacting to other people's priorities instead of protecting your own. This is what makes the business trap so dangerous. Your brain interprets this constant responsiveness as a threat to your autonomy, one of the 5 gatekeepers of human behaviour. You've convinced yourself that you don't have a choice. But here's where brain science can really help you. Your circadian rhythm, your chronotype, your generic disposition for when you're naturally alert, dramatically influences when your brain can actually do its best work. Yet the busyness trap convinces you to ignore this biological reality. Recent studies have showed that your biorhythms control everything from cortisol release patterns to core body temperature fluctuations, and this happens throughout the day. About 25% of people are morning larks who peak between 8 and 10 a.m. 25% are night owls who hit their cognitive stride in the late morning or afternoon and often get a second wind after 4 p.m. or late in the night. 50% of others are the third bird falling somewhere in between. When you schedule important work against your chronotype, like Sarah, a night owl, setting 7 a.m. as her strategic thinking time because no one was interrupting her, you're literally working against your brain's optimal functioning. Your prefrontal cortex isn't getting the neurochemicals it needs for complex thinking during those hours. The busyness trap makes this worse by convincing you that being available at all hours proves your dedication. And here's what's really concerning. Your default mode network, the part of your brain that should reset during downtime, never gets the rest it needs when you're constantly context switching against your natural rhythms. So even when you're not in meetings, your mind is racing. It's why you wake up at 2 a.m. overthinking conversations from 3 meetings ago. The busyness trap creates a neurological prison where you're so busy being busy that your brain never gets the space it needs to think strategically, especially during those optimal cognitive hours. And here's the kicker. Your team's mirror neurons are picking up on that scattered energy. When you're always reactive, always available during non-optimal times, you're unconsciously teaching them that exhausted leadership is just normal leadership. So what is Tiger Time? In week 1 of our Intentional Leader Blueprint coaching experience, we teach you to identify and claim your Tiger Time. But this just isn't another time blocking technique. This is your escape from the routine of your business trap. Tiger Time is your neurological sweet spot. It's that 90 to 120 minute window when your brain's chemistry is perfectly aligned for deep work, strategic thinking, and creative problem solving. For most leaders, this happens in the morning before the world starts making demands on your attention. But the magic isn't just in identifying it, it's in protecting it fiercely from the busyness trap's pull. Sarah discovered that her Tiger Time was between 9:30 and 11:30. Instead of filling it with quick connects or check-ins and status meetings, the hallmarks of the business trap, she started using this for strategic planning, thinking through complex problems and preparing for the conversations that actually mattered. But here's what made the real difference for Sarah. She learned to see her Tiger Time not as selfish time management, but as strategic leadership. When you protect your peak cognitive hours from the business trap, you show up more prepared, more focused, and more valuable in every other interaction. Tiger Time isn't a luxury, it's neurobiology. And every high-performing leader I've coached who reclaims this window starts thinking bigger, leading better, and resting deeper. Protecting Tiger Time means you'll need to start saying no, or not now, or not at that time of day more often, which is difficult for most leaders. If you want to start experimenting with practicing your focus time right now, here's a simple prompt you can try with ChatGPT. Help me draft a polite but firm message to decline this meeting request and suggest an alternative. Go ahead, try it. See what it gives you. You'll probably get something like, "Thank you for the meeting invitation. Unfortunately, I'm not available at that time. Could we reschedule for," and then it would insert an alternative time. It's polite, it's functional, but if you're like most women leaders caught up in that busyness trap, you'll immediately think, this sounds too blunt for my boss. What if they think I'm not committed? Or this doesn't account for the politics of my situation. Keep prompting until you feel the message is more you. Generic AI gives you templates, but it can't understand the nuanced context of your relationships, your industry, organisational culture, or why your time feels so difficult in the first place. This is why you'll need a few prompts to get it right. But here's the thing. Protecting Tiger Time isn't just about sending one polite no to a meeting invite. If it were that simple, you would already be doing it. What keeps most leaders stuck isn't the mechanics. It's the psychology of the busyness trap, the guilt, the fear of being seen as unavailable, the worry that saying no makes you less valuable. And this is where most generic AI falls short. Sure, it can draft you a standard message, but it doesn't understand you. your leadership style, or the pressures you're carrying. That's why inside the Intentional Leader Blueprint, you get access to the Time Liberator. It's a custom AI designed specifically around the Leader Within method. It doesn't just spit out polite declines, it's here to help you reclaim your power hours by supporting you in 5 transformational ways. Guiding you in conversations that protect your time while preserving trust so that you can say no with clarity and strengthen relationships. Designing Tiger Time templates tailored to your natural rhythm, transforming your peak hours into protected space for your highest value work. Providing Leader Within compass points that resets the psychology behind that busyness trap so that you know exactly where to focus your energy without second guessing. Unlocking coaching questions like, what am I saying yes to that's actually a no to myself? And how is the busy schedule helping me to avoid harder leadership decisions? Questions that shift you from automatic thoughts to intentional leadership. And equipping you with team action strategies that help others identify and protect their own Tiger Time, creating a culture that values clarity over chaos. Let me give you an example. When you use the Time Liberator, instead of sending a flat, I can't make it, you can get something like this. I want to contribute meaningfully to this initiative. My strategic thinking peak happens between 9:30 and 11:30. So I'd love to join you for the decision-making portion. If that time doesn't work, I'm happy to review the agenda before and shared detailed input. Do you hear the difference? That it's not just declining, it's repositioning. Sarah wasn't saying no, she was showing up as a strategic leader, someone who knows when she can add the most value and communicates it with clarity and collaboration. This is the power of the Time Liberator AI. It helps you move from being busy and reactive to being more intentional, respectful, and undeniably influential. So let's imagine what could happen when a leader starts reclaiming her Tiger Time with the right support. Picture Sarah, a composite of many women leaders I've coached. Brilliant, dedicated, respected, but caught in that busyness trap. When she began protecting her peak hours through the Tiger Time process, here's what shifted. She didn't just clear away meetings from a calendar. She reclaimed 8 hours every single week. That's an entire workday she can now dedicate to that high impact thinking and leadership presence that her role truly required. And here's a deeper shift. She gained respect. Colleagues stopped defaulting to, let's pull Sarah into this, and instead began saying, does this really need Sarah's input, or can we handle it ourselves? Her manager noticed too, instead of adding her to every meeting invite, he began scheduling the big strategic conversations during her Tiger Time because he wanted her best thinking, not her most exhausted availability. And the ripple didn't stop there. As Sarah explained to her team why she was protecting Tiger Time, 3 of them identified their own peak hours and started reshaping their calendars too. The busyness trap wasn't just broken for her, it began to unravel culture across her team. These kind of results I've seen time and time again as clients embrace Tiger Time. And here's what excites me. In our next cohort of the Intentional Leader Blueprint coaching experience, we're introducing into week 1 the Time Liberator AI. So you're not only learning how to reclaim your peak hours, you also have custom AI partner helping you protect them with clarity, confidence, and ease. Because protecting your tiger time isn't selfish. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself, your team, and your organisation. That's a wrap on week 1 of our 6-week series from invisible to influential. You've just experienced what's possible when you reclaim your tiger time and break free from the busyness trap. But here's the thing. Glimpsing transformation and living it are two different things. If you're ready to stop being the best kept secret in your organisation and want the support to turn these insights into reality, go to sue-ann.com.au/intentional to discover from invisible to influential in just 6 weeks, where strategic leadership coaching meets AI tools that think with you. In our next cohort, week 1 is being enhanced with the Time Liberator AI to help you protect your tiger time with confidence and ease. Remember, you're only one reconstructed thought away from the breakthrough you deserve in your life and in your leadership journey. Next week, we'll tackle the chaos that steals your focus, and I'll show you how to build a daily blueprint that makes your week flow. Until then, my lovely, keep leading with clarity, passion, and purpose.